All right, so let's go and make this section here dynamic. So we will add all right, so there is, let me see how it looks like. So we have the main and we have a div like this. So let me wrap everything inside the section. Okay, so we are able to add a one background for everything in the same time, and let me paste it back. All right, so let me give it some ID here. Let's call it new card, and let me give it a class, and let's give it also a new card like this as a class. So I will save it, and first thing first, let's add the background. I will go like step by step so that you see how easy like done, so you don't get confused. So first thing I want to add is I want to be able to add a background color for this entire section. So this is our class. I'm gonna use our class to target it. So like normally what you're gonna do in a static way, you're gonna copy the class. So let me go and do that. And you're gonna come in your style tag here. And as you can see, we used this style tag here. Okay, about this later on. So let me paste this class here. And normally what you're gonna do, you will do background color, and you're gonna give it a background color. Let's say gray for now. Let's save it. Let's go inside our code. Let's refresh, and we have some background here, and it's gray. But as you can see, this is hard coded. We can't change it. All right. So what to do is to use a Shopify setting input, and we're going to. I already talked about it in my Shopify series, so I will leave the link on the description. So what we're going to do next is we're gonna come back to VS Code, and we want to make this value here dynamic. So we need to create an input for that. So if I come back, let me just reduce this style, and inside here, let me remove what I've made earlier. Okay, and let's start from scratch. So let's create a type here, and it's going to be type of, well, we have two possibilities here. We can use the color type, or even the color background, or we can even use the schema actually if we want to. Okay, so let's try the schema. Maybe it's much easier. So I'm gonna call it color scheme like this, and the ID could be, let's say, you give it any name you want. I'm gonna call mine BG new card like this, and I will give it some label. So let's call it background color, and we can add some info here if you want to. And yeah, so let's save it. Let's see how it's going to look. If I come here and I refresh the page, and we're going to have the schema here. So the schema is just a color that it's already set. If I come back here and I look for colors, and we have the schemas already set here. So we have like three possibilities. We can use the schema like already set color, or we can use the other possibility. You know what, let's use both so that you see how is it working. So let me come back to my VS Code. I will create another settings. So I will call it type of color, and this is not random like this. You have to follow how Shopify set it. So the ID, let's call this one BG new card 2, because it must be unique ID. And let's give it an ID. I mean the label, it could be like background color. Okay, and we can set some condition here. We can say in the case this one is selected, but you know what, is not really important. I just wanted to show you how is it going to look over here. And it's going to be like this. And here we have a color picker. We can choose the color over here, but as you can see, it's not going to affect our card yet. We still have this hard-coded background. So now how to make this either one to be accessible inside our card. So let me save it first. So I will go with this one first. Okay, so I will copy just the ID, and I will come to my style here where we have the background color, and it is set to gray. So what I'm going to do, I will like remove it, open this double curlies, and I will access it like this. So using the section dot settings, okay, because remember we are accessing the settings ID. We want to access the ID which is here. So we need to access first of all the section, and then the settings key right here. And then once you are inside the settings, we want to access the ID, because the ID is going to be the unique identifier. So next, well, we need to come back here and then add the ID. And in this case, it is BG new cards. And if I save it, it's going to automatically change the background here. And it is red, which reflects what we have here. If I refresh the page here, we're going to have the correct background color, and we can come and change the color like this, and it's going to change as well. So this is what makes it dynamic. All right, and we can even set the text color here to be white. So for that, what we can do is to go to create another settings. Let me reduce this style. We need to create another settings, so it could be type of color as well, and the ID could be text new card. Yeah, it could be like this, and the label, we can call it text color. Okay, and we're just gonna use this ID inside our main card here. So it's going to be color, and it's going to be the same. We need to access the section, then access the settings, then access the ID, which is text new card. And if we save it, now we must be able to change the color text, at least for the titles. And if I come here and I click on the text color, we can add it, make it to be white, and it's going to be white. So we can even use the other one, which is the other settings for the color picker, which is color background. It's going to be the same principles. Okay, so this is a bit different. You need to also, let's set it here, color background. The rest is going to be the same. So if I save it, I'm not gonna get any error whatsoever. And if I come back here, let me save and then refresh. It's gonna ask me to override maybe. No, okay, let me refresh again. Yes, so if I come here, now we have a different kind of way, because we can access some linear background here. So I can remove this one, and I can go to gradient, and I can choose this one, and it's going to affect, but we need to go change our CSS. Instead of having background color, because it's gonna use the linear here, so we're gonna have, I think, either just the background, or it's going to be background image. So let's see. There you go. Okay, so it's like picking without any problem. All right, okay, so next, let's see, we can also access the schema if we want to. I will just show it quickly just for you to know. And if I go back to my VS Code, I will try to access the schema color here, the first one here. I can try to access it. So let me say I'm gonna remove these two. Okay, so we're just gonna use the schema. The schema comes with the color background and the text color. So what I'm gonna do first, I want to access it outside. So just to see how is it going to look. So section.settings, so that's the ID, which is BG new card. If I save it and I go back and I refresh here, we have scheme 1, okay, which is the name that we do have over here. Okay, and remember, I removed the two other settings because I want to use the scheme, the scheme type. Okay, so the scheme 1 is what we have here. So if I go back to my VS Code and I add a dot here, so I have access to the ID and the settings. So I want to access the settings. So if I save it and I go back to check again, now we have access to all of this bunch of objects. Okay, so and in the case you want to learn more about it, I have a video about it on my Shopify series. You can learn about how to create even schema like this. So what we want is the background. Okay, so I will just copy the key and I will come to my VS Code and I will do that background. I'm not gonna save for now because I want to also to capture the text color. So I will come back and I will look for the text. So we're gonna use the background and the foreground heading. Okay, so let me copy this ID and let's go back to VS Code and replace it here. And then I'm gonna copy this first one, all of this actually. Let's cut it and go back to VS Code. Just below, I paste it here and I will cut the first one, add it as a background, and I will cut the second one, add it as a color and save it. And if I go back, now it looks white, which means it seems like it's working. So if I go back now to my code here and I say, okay, I want to have a different background, let's say red, and you see it's changing for the whole site, because usually Shopify using schema as the main color for the website. So let me put it back like this. Let me set it back to white, and let me go create my own scheme color. So let me add it to be something like close to gray, like this, and the color, let's leave it to something close to black. Okay, so if I go back, let me save it. If I go back to my card section here and I choose my new scheme, which is scheme 8, we're gonna have it like this. Okay, so let's save it. And next, let's talk about how to add the height for the section here.